Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's We Are Tottenham on Tour, the takeover, with the two Brians from Tottenham on Tour, myself, Brian Daigle, and my partner in crime, Mr. Brian Ireland. How
What's up,
are you,
people?
Brian?
How's it going, guys? I'm great, man. I've been looking forward to this all day. I think both of us are a little bit nervous because we're stepping into some big shoes here with the lads. So we appreciate the opportunity, and hopefully the folks who are here joining us will enjoy it as much as we do.
Exactly. I mean, obviously, I'll tell you a little bit why we are taking over the channel for the next 4 days. So, everyone knows that we have a very close relationship with Ben and Simeon, and Ben and Simeon are away for 4 days on Ben's stag do. So they are over in Dublin now and have given us the honour and privilege of taking over the show to give them some content. So Tottenham on Tour will be taking over. Obviously, there's two other people in our quartet. We obviously have Adam Clark, who's in the back end right now, man in the comments and super chats as they come in. And obviously we have Mr. Danny
Danny
Kiriakou,
Kiriakou.
who will hopefully make an appearance at some point. But so yeah, we are here today, and the two main topics we have, and we will be opening or we'll be sending the link out for people to come on and have their say. But that will be in the community section for gold and silver members at 9 o'clock. So check the community section at 9 o'clock. And the two topics for today is we're going to break down this race for fourth and analyze it game by game and try and get your participation, see what everyone else thinks. There's a few surprises in there, I know from myself. And then we're going to talk about the announcement from Mr. Jermaine Defoe retiring from professional football and what a ambassador he was for Tottenham and for the English game. So they're the two topics of discussion, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, looking forward to both. I mean, obviously, the race for top four is a funny one because we've already seen in the comments, even before we went live, that it's a controversial one, right? Because there's, you know what, you and I have even, and of course, Adam and I as well on previous streams on our channel struggle with, should we be even talking about this, right? Why are we talking about top four? Why, like, obviously we're not going to make it. There's so many teams are better than us, blah blah blah. That sort of ongoing conversation, which is fair point. But I think what we're going to do today, and I think what is going to make it interesting for people, hopefully, is that we're going to break down the fixtures that are left for each team and what we think will happen in those fixtures, the result that will happen, and of course, the end result would be the total number of points when we get to the end of the season. And of course, there's that massive game, the North London Derby, that's going to really probably dictate, I think, the result here and what will likely happen at the end of it. So yeah, great conversation. Looking forward to it. And of course, Jermaine Defoe, I mean, my goodness gracious, when it comes to a player that I've always, I played striker in Sunday League. I don't in any way compare myself to somebody who's professional, but I loved the style of play that he played, and always admired his like last, on that the shoulder of the last man, and just the amount of shots he'd take, and arguably missed too many, but scored a shit ton of goals for us and some big goals as well. And there's some wonderful performances which we'll get into, and looking forward to that chat as well. And of course, if you're in the comments, get in the comments and tell us about what you think. When we get to that, don't start it now because then we have to try to sift through. But when we get to that segment about Jermaine Defoe, give us your thoughts and some of your favorite moments with what a servant of the club, and of course a servant of football in the Premier League, and of course what he did for Bradley, I think his name is, the young child who incredible stuff. Like what a man. He also actually came to Toronto and played in Toronto for a season, and I got to watch him play, and despite everybody hating him, I still loved him at the end of it. So yeah, looking forward to both conversations. Gonna be a lot of fun.
It is. I mean, the way we're going to do this, well, we want your interaction, everyone in the comments as well, when we do the top four race. But the way we're going to break it down is we're going to go through the fifth run of games first. Brian will go through his. I'll go through mine. Then we're going to do ours. Then we'll do United's. And then at the end, we've got a slide for each of us to show where we think or what points we will end up on.
Yeah.
And we want to know what your point tallies are and where your fourth, fifth, sixth will actually end up, and then we'll have some questions on it and everything. But it should be a lot of fun. Obviously, it's the international break. There's not a lot of material to talk about, and this is a subject, as you said, everyone is talking about it to death.
Yeah.
But it is a discussion that has to be had, and it's not one we've actually done, Brian, in this depth, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think this will be a bit more specific, obviously, because we've got 9 games left in the season. 9 games left in the season means it's pretty easy to sort of look at what's there and predict based on what we've seen so far this season from either the results we've had against the clubs that we're playing against or their results and their form and whether or not they're even in the conversation or not. So if you're playing against a team mid-table, or if you're playing against a team who's fighting relegation, or if you're fighting one of your rivals who's actually in that position that if you have to play them, which is what we sort of talked about when it comes to that North London derby that has to be played still. These are massive games. So we're going to sort of like look at them all and determine what each of them is going to look like for each of the clubs involved and where we'll likely finish. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's get into it. So we're going to bring up this slide, and this slide is brought to you by well, Brian, you tell about it. It's our sister channel, isn't it? So you're the founder of it. So you talk about it a bit.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to bring up the slide. These are the fixtures that are left. This slide is brought to you by the North End. The North End is a Premier League channel. It's a YouTube channel. We used to do a podcast for a long time, and we've recently moved into YouTube, and we're slowly growing. Please hop on over to the North End if you don't mind. I actually will quickly share the link in the comments if you guys don't mind. Hop on over there and subscribe because it is club based to some extent, but it's also across the board when it comes to multiple different clubs. We've brought on we got a Crystal Palace guy, we've got two Aston Villa guys, recently got a Liverpool guy. And everybody's kind of comes in and brings their topic conversation. So and Paul and Connie, who are both United fans, we may see them later because they might not like our predictions. Just a little hint there that I probably shouldn't give away, but I'm going to give it away anyway. So you can see here that we've got the points that we're on right now. We've got Arsenal on 54 points, Spurs on 51, Man United on 50. And then the fixtures that are remaining. I'll start with Arsenal. This is my position on Arsenal and what we see and what I think is likely going to happen. Let's get into the weeds because it's going to be a fun one. And I want to just reiterate to the folks in the chat, hang on a sec before you freak out, and we'll get to your chat when we get to the end and we see the numbers because I think that's when we'll have a lot of fun with it. So Arsenal play Crystal Palace away from home. I've got a draw here. Now, this is a reason being is Patrick Vieira. This is against his. Well, we don't need the history there. We don't need to spend too much time on it because it's who it is. It's Arsenal. Don't spend too much time on that. But I think that Crystal Palace at home will make it very difficult for Arsenal. They don't have a ton to play for, so I worry about that a little bit here. That's why I picked a draw. I think a draw here will be the likely result. Now we move on to Brighton Hove Albion. It's a hard one. Brighton have been really, really bad form. I think they've lost about 7 or 8 in a row or something like that. And this is from a side that I think most of us thought this is a team that. Myself included, that the manager is, he's good enough to get them into mid-table, and they started the season so well, but have fallen off drastically, like off a cliff at this point, and I can't see Arsenal getting points here, unfortunately. My next one is Southampton. Similar to Brighton, they just haven't been putting it together. Like, week in, week out, it's been inconsistent and it's recently kind of fallen off. I think when teams like Brighton and Southampton get to a point where they think they've kind of gotten there, they dip a bit. They're on the golf course already, and I think that's kind of what we're seeing with both those two teams. So hard to see Arsenal not getting results here. Now, this is a massive one. So they got Chelsea next. Chelsea, despite not having the best season and being inconsistent, they're still consistent enough that they get the wins when they need them to stay in that third position. It's hard to argue that they're not gonna beat Arsenal here. Now, this may be a controversial one. I feel like this is, if I was going to get anyone wrong, it might be this one, because I do think that Arsenal have the potential to get a draw here against a Chelsea side that is inconsistent. It depends which one shows up, and it depends how badly they think they need to not get in this conversation of whether there's a top 4 race for them, because currently they're out of it. I think 6 points or 5 or 6 points above Arsenal at the moment, and I think maybe Arsenal have a game in hand. So it's a big game for both clubs for different reasons. So I will give it to Chelsea in this case. I've got Man U next, and I see a draw here. I think, again, a similar scenario to the Chelsea game. United are struggling, though. They don't score a ton of goals. They're not, I don't have, and you'll sort of see as this analyzation goes on of what we're talking about here, that Man United's inconsistencies is actually probably worse than Spurs, and I can't see them getting a win here, but a 1-1 result. And I think that plays into Spurs, obviously for the run in. So Next game we've got West Ham United. Again, another very similar thing to the Man United game. I think West Ham it's super inconsistent. They have what it takes, arguably, from what we've seen this season, but their recent form hasn't been brilliant. I see another draw. I see a point for both teams here, and again, that plays into, if you're supporting Spurs, it's a very positive thing. The rest of it pretty much plays out, other than what we'll get to is the North London Derby is the most important game. But when it comes to Newcastle, when it comes to Leeds, when it comes to Everton, these are three teams. I mean, arguably Newcastle probably in the best form. Newcastle's form is quite good, despite having lost their last game. I believe their last game, if I'm not mistaken. They had a run of like about 8 games there when they got taken over in January, and they played very well and got enough points where they put themselves out of the relegation conversation. They're coming up against two teams that are they're in a scenario where they're against two teams that are in and around it. So for Arsenal, those are difficult games. Those are very difficult games. Like, it's not going to be easy to come up against those teams that are making sure they don't get in that conversation of the bottom 3. And that bottom 3 conversation is a big conversation. So it has to be, you have to be concerned about it. And of course, the one and only, the thing that we're all wondering, when the hell are they going to reschedule it, is the North London Derby against Tottenham Hotspur at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. As much as I'm like nervous about this game, because I'm always nervous, and I know everybody else here is as well. This is Tottenham. This is Tottenham, not only Tottenham, but this is Tottenham versus Arsenal. It's like the worst day I ever, like, whenever we play them. I don't enjoy it. I don't know many Spurs fans who do, unless we win. Like, the afterwards is great, but like the whole build up and the whether or not what's going to happen. Having said that, I do think Spurs, in the form that we're in, if we can maintain the form, and of course this will depend on when this game gets played. I do recognize that the league right now is kind of making different determinations on when it will happen. The talk is early May, which is essentially the end of the season. How it fits into this schedule, I think, will matter quite a bit for both teams, and how much they've played football, and what they're feeling and going into it. It is at home for us. I feel like Spurs get a win, and I think that's 3 points for Tottenham. So it's on to you now, and to your thoughts for Arsenal.
So do you know what? It was harder for me to have my Spurs hat on predicting Arsenal scores than it was me having my Spurs hat on predicting Spurs scores. I've got the same with you, Crystal Palace, a draw. Notoriously, Arsenal don't do well at Sellers Park. Their fans are phenomenal at Sellers Park. You cannot deny how incredible their support is.
For sure.
And Vieira. So I'm going for a draw there. Brighton, I've got the same 3 points. The next game, Southampton, is where my Tottenham Arsenal head came on, and I actually went for Southampton to get a win. I actually started like that, but I actually changed it to a draw. Like, my Spurs hat was saying, yeah, they're going to lose. But yeah, I had to change that, and I had to say that they're going to get a point. Although I think it'll be a hard-fought point. Chelsea, straight up loss.
Yeah, easy one, right?
They really don't perform well regularly against Chelsea. I mean, I remember the time when Drogba was there, and Drogba would always score. Their record against Chelsea is nowhere near as bad as ours, but I think Chelsea will just have too much for them. And who knows, by that time they may have new owners, all the sanctions, like, they're starting to be lifted. So who knows, they could be in a very bubbly place. So that'll be 0 for them. But I've actually gone, and this was half percent, I think they're going to get 3 points against United. I really do.
Okay.
I think United, Arsenal will get the job done. Where we found, I just got a feeling they're going to get the job done. I don't know why, and I hated putting 3 points up next to this fixture. And then the next one, West Ham, I've gone for a point. I'm hoping them two can just cancel each. Okay. They can cancel each other out. Leeds, 3 points. I still think Leeds are going to go down. I still think.
Really? Wow.
I've been saying it. I said it on Bob Spur TV at the beginning of the season. I think they're going to have a second season syndrome, and I've just got a feeling that they're going to go down. So I've got 3 points there. Newcastle, I've gone for a draw. Everton, I've gone for 3 points. Everton are a mess, and I think if they're safe, which I think they just might be, I don't think it'll be like, right, we've survived, whatever. And then obviously there is no other thing to say apart from when we play the filth. And listen,
that's the hard one. That's the hard one, Brian. That's the one.
For me, there's no hard. I will always go into this fixture, especially at home. At home, we do a lot better against them.
Should be a no-brainer, but
it should be a no-brainer. The addition of Kulusevski and Bentancur has been massive. Also, this will be the third time or fourth time if you include the Mine Cup game that we played at the beginning of the season. We've beaten them every single time at the new stadium. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping that will become a fourth or third in the Premier League, whichever way you want to look at it. So yeah, I've gone from them getting 0 points from the North London derby.
So we agree on that one, and again, I think that game will come down to. It's basically everything. like I do think that game decides whether we finish fourth or they finish fourth, and that's kind of awesome, but also terrifying at the same time. So let's get into.
I just have to say on that, Brian. Sure, I think Sky have played for us not a blinder, but they had this ace in their pocket, didn't they, to try and get like what we had with Man City when Peter Crouch scored. That could this be the decider? And the ball has been in their court. Yes, when we were in the FA Cup, they couldn't do it on an FA Cup weekend because we were still in it. Now we're both out. It could have been played. And then obviously we're both not in Europe. So there's times it can be played, but they're keeping this ace up their sleeve to drag it out to try and see when this.
It's a massive game, right? It's a massive game. It is arguably, and people will argue this, that it's one of the best derbies that exists on the planet. So
I would say the biggest one recently would be the one where Harry Kane scored that brilliant curler
from the corner that we didn't win.
Yeah, when we went top of the league. Yeah, when we went top of the league for a few minutes before Sanchez equalised. Yeah. That was deemed as a huge one. Then you had obviously the last season at the Lane where St Tottenham's Day finally ended, and please God, may it continue ending. But this one is head and shoulders above what those two are with the way things are going. So yeah, we shall have to wait and see.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get into Spurs results here because we didn't want to overly bias predict it and save Spurs for last. So we're going to do Spurs in the middle. I've got some pretty arguably like, from a lot of people's perspective, maybe like, what do you mean? Like, how are Spurs going to win 4 in a row? But I've chosen that, and I know that you're probably thinking, what is Ireland thinking? Spurs 4 in a row? But I do think that the run that we're about to go on is going to define the season and going to potentially get us into that top 4 position. So I've got we play Newcastle at home. I got 3 points there. I don't think that's a difficult result. I think it's relatively comfortable. You may disagree, and we'll get into your thoughts on that in a minute. Aston Villa's form has been really, really suspect under Gerrard. He's kind of just been inconsistent. They'll have a really good game, they'll play really well, and then the next game they'll be kind of not really there. I watched the games very attentively against Arsenal, and they just weren't very good. It wasn't that, I mean, don't get me wrong, Arsenal were quite good in probably the first half an hour or so, but Aston Villa were crap. They were just not there. They didn't show up, and it was a hard watch. And I honestly think that they're similar in that they've kind of gotten as far as they can get this season. They've done reasonably well with bringing in the new manager. They brought in some good players from a recruitment perspective. I think they've got a ways to go before they're going to have the conversations of being a difficult team to play against in this situation. So I've got a win there as well. Brighton again, Brighton Hove Albion again. Again, they've been terrible. It's hard to see any other result than a win here. And then again, Brentford, they've picked up their form recently. They've started to score some goals. Christian Eriksen, massive difference here. This will be the first game if he's fit, and we'll see what happens during international break, and whether or not he stays fit for the season. And we end up getting to see him against Spurs, because that would be fun to watch. I think all of us who are Spurs fans, despite how he left, and we all have our opinions on that, I think he's what happened to him in the Euros, and just as a human, you're rooting for him no matter what until this game comes, and then we want him to be shit. We want him to like hit the first man on every corner. So hopefully that's the case. So I've got a Spurs win there. So that's 4 in a row. I don't think that's like too crazy to think 4 in a row against those teams. Now, having said that, I recognize that any team winning 4 in a row is a feat, especially Spurs, because the season
Well,
we've
it'll be
had.
6 in a row, if in all honesty, if those
Well,
four come
that's
off.
also true, minus the international break. So you're right. Thank you for correcting me and making my prediction even more ridiculous. But at the same time, I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it because I'm just basing it on what these teams are, the position they're in the league, and their form in our form. I think we should have enough to do that. The next game I'm a little bit more concerned about. It's Leicester. Leicester also inconsistent, but I think there's quality in that Leicester side that the teams previous to this, maybe Villa might have a bit more quality, and we might be worried about some of the players in their side. But I think Leicester, sometimes can be a difficult team to play against. I could see a draw here, reluctant draw, but I could see a draw. And of course, then we have Liverpool next. This is the write-off. This is the easy one to say, whatever. If we get a point out of that, then it makes things even easier. And it makes the rest of my predictions maybe less ridiculous because I might get away with it. But yeah, I can't see us getting much from Liverpool. It's at Anfield. They're Liverpool right now. They are flying, and they are I think currently looking like they're the team to beat, even though City I think are a point above them at the moment. But it's so close, and I see Liverpool more dangerous than I see City, and I in that situation I can't see Spurs getting much from it. Then we got Burnley. I don't see an issue there. Norwich, I don't see an issue there, and of course we've already talked about the London Derby. Same thing. It holds? I think Spurs hold there, and that's how I see the remaining games for Spurs of the season. Your go, buddy.
Okay, so my go. So we vary. I see the run, or not the run. I see the winning run coming to an end against Newcastle with a draw. And again, I only say that because at the new ground we've been bad against Newcastle. And the last few seasons at the Old Lane we were bad against Newcastle. So I'm doing it on that. And Newcastle were, like you said, up until their defeat in the last game, they were good. Second. They were second in form for points in 2022.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's no mean feat. So I've gone for a draw there. Then I've gone for 2 back-to-back wins with Villa and Brighton. With Brighton at home, we seem to breeze past them. At Brighton, it seems to be, apart from the recent one where we just won quite relaxingly, they've been a struggle. So I'm at 3 points at home. I've got no issues with that. Then I've gone for a draw at Brentford. And the reason I've gone for a draw at Brentford...
This is an odd one for me, Brad. This is an odd one for me.
Well, the reason I've gone there, I mean, I was watching with Bob Spur, and actually it was when Bob Spur, me, Kim and Arthur met for the first time. We watched, to me, which was one of the best games of the season, after Leicester and Man City for us that I was at, was the 3-3 against Liverpool. And then you look at it, the 0-0 they had against Chelsea when Mendy was absolutely on fire. They beat Arsenal 2-0. So, yes, they're languishing at the bottom. I don't think they're going to get suckered into it's not an easy place to go, and it's the first time we're going there. The crowd will be pumped up. So I've gone for a draw. I've gone for a draw there just based on that kind of thing. I didn't want to do this. It's Tottenham 3 points. Tottenham 3 points. So I really, really, really had to...
Is that a slag? Is that the slag for my Tottenham 3 points on the first 4
games? No. I've
it's
looked
fine
at
if
this.
It is, Brian. It's fine if it is.
No, I've just looked at it and I've tried to be as balanced and as neutral as I can when I'm doing this.
I appreciate that.
So I've gone for a draw for Brentford. Leicester, I've gone for 3 points. Liverpool, I've gone for a defeat. And then I do see a run of 3 straight wins of Burnley, Newcastle, Burnley, Norwich, who I think will be down, and then the filth. So yeah, what have I got? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins, 2 draws, and a defeat, but staggered. So 1 draw, 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 win, a defeat, and then 3 straight wins.
I mean, if we could win 3 in a row to finish the season, that bodes very well, I would say, for a top 4 finish, no matter what happens previously, because every team in this race is going to have ups and downs. Of course, our predictions are just that. They're predictions. We don't know what the hell's going to happen. But what we do know is that if you can put together a string at any point, I think, whether it's the beginning of this run of 9 or in the middle of it or at the end of it, if you can win 3 in a row, you're putting yourself in a chance to in that top 4, I think.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah. So that's Tottenham done.
All right, let's get
And now,
into United then. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, let's do United, brother.
United's a relatively simple one for me. I think against Leicester, I think coming from the international break, United are going to probably try to galvanize themselves and respond to their just lack of consistency, and I think they'll get a result against Leicester. Everton, I mean, it's Everton at the moment. It's really hard to see Everton getting anywhere. I think Everton are going down personally. I think that over and above any other team that you're like wondering whether it's, I think Everton go down before Leeds go down. I think that from a form perspective, they're in trouble, and I could see United just adding to that trouble easily. Of course, then we got Norwich. Again, Norwich are down. Like they're done. They're on the golf course and they're slicing it into the woods. I mean, they're just so bad. It's just not a good scene. And so easy win for them. So I see United coming in 3 wins in a row as well and making it really difficult for Spurs, putting the pressure on Spurs and Arsenal and coming in on form and making it difficult. But then they've got to play Liverpool. And then they've got to play Arsenal, one after the other. And those two games define whether United you're even in the conversation or not. I've currently got losing to Liverpool, which I think for the same reason I think we'll lose to Liverpool. Liverpool just doing Liverpool things at the moment. They're a better side than any other side in the world at the moment, other than City, and that's where that conversation happens. And I can't see United, despite the rivalry, despite the it's a derby or considered to be a derby, that we should be worried about it. Liverpool are going to smash them up, and it's not going to be pretty for United. And that's where things kind of, I think, go off the boil for them. And of course, then they've got to come up against Arsenal, and they'll want to respond to the result against Liverpool. And I think that they'll respond enough to get a result. But that draw, and I see a draw there, will be perfect for Spurs and just perfect for that run in of what happens afterwards. So Arsenal a draw there, and then of course they've got Brentford, who we will have just played. I see a win there. I think Brentford at this point, depending on where they are kind of done, and they'll know it. I can't recall if it's a home or away, but I don't think it matters too much one way or the other. I think that Brentford won't have enough, and I think United get the win there. And I would say the same about Brighton. Again, I'd say Brighton are in that same conversation, similar to Everton, in a team that you thought was good and that was playing really well and managed well and they were doing really well, are slowly just dropping, and they just don't have enough to get over the line. All the draws they got early in the season have turned into losses, and that's where they are right now. So I can't see United not getting a result there. And then of course we've got Chelsea. Chelsea, I think they smash United comfortably here. I don't think it's even a question. And then I think they beat Palace away. And that's my thoughts on United. How about you?
Okay, so before I go through, I just want to say thank you to the 314 people watching.
Cheers.
Currently only, or 319 now. Currently only 66 likes. We want to do these boys proud. So please, if you are enjoying it, please just help us out and give us a thumbs up.
For Ben Stagg, get him the same. Let's get him the same amount of likes as we have watching for his stag. It's a stag present, so.
That would be
smash.
That would be brilliant. Jamie Get is on the case with giving us the numbers. So thank you, Jamie Get. So yeah, let's go through United, and then first of all, what we'll do is once we do United, any of you guys have any questions or want to have any comments about what you think before we show you ours, feel free to start putting them in now, and we'll get Adam to bring a few up.
Get your questions in, get your thoughts in, and we'll address them.
Exactly. So right, United. So I have gone for Leicester, 1 point. Everton, 3 points for United. Although do you know what? Out of all the ones that have got Everton, I know United sometimes struggle against Everton, and there've been some great high-scoring games with them and everything. So I was contemplating saying a draw, but I just thought, no, do you know what? I think United. I've got to take the Tottenham hat off and be what I think. So I think Everton will be 3 points for United. Norwich, again, obviously, I think that's 3 points done and dusted. Then I've gone for back-to-back defeats. I think they're going to lose to Liverpool, and obviously this game is huge for them. And you've got to remember, at the time they play them, Liverpool could still be going for the quadruple.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive game. Absolutely massive game.
And for Liverpool to try and get a quadruple and to get 3 points to help them on their way at United. I think Liverpool will. I think I watched the game at Anfield. I did when I was coming back from We Are Tottenham TV after the Newcastle game when Liverpool ripped them apart at Old Trafford, ripped them to pieces. And I just can't see. The only way I see United doing something is with the players. They know Ragniak's not going to be there, so it's kind of, do they think, oh, okay, we can just do what we want, the manager's going, or we know the manager that might be coming in, whether it be a Ten Hag or Pochettino, and I want to show them that I am going to be right up there and part of his team.
Yeah.
So it could change the psychology, but I just can't see them getting anything against Liverpool. Arsenal, I hate to say this, I think the filth are just going to be too strong for them. I really do. Brentford, again, like I did with us, I've gone for a point. So I'm not just. I really think Brentford is a hard team where I think really enough these two defeats, they're going to come out wanting to play, and I think Brentford will just keep them quiet. I really think they do, and they'll get a point. Then I've gone for 3 points against Brighton. I think that'll be an easy 3 points. A defeat to Chelsea. And then finally summing it off or rounding the season off with 3 points at Palace. So I've got draw, win, loss, draw, win, loss, win.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with that. I mean, I think we're pretty close on most of those conversations. Do you want me to bring up your actual score totals first?
Which I mean, we can do that, and then we can address some questions that give people time to get some questions in or thoughts. So yeah, let's bring up, and you can fire some questions at me about my prediction.
All right, so this is your predictions. This is the final numbers. You've got Arsenal on 70 points, Spurs on 71 points.
Yep.
Pipping Arsenal to the fourth place because Man United finishing on 64 points. This is I mean, you can these are the win-loss and draw ratios we predicted. I'm surprised, Brian, because you and I have argued on our channel on a number of occasions that you thought Spurs were not going to finish top four. Now you do. So please explain yourself. And I want to ask you this because is this because remember I said when we were talking about it, let's look at the teams they have to play. Let's look at the numbers and then let's be realistic about it and make a determination. Is that now? Have you changed your mind now? Have you? What's happening? Tell me.
No, I mean, let's start off with, first of all, this is just when I did my predictions.
Yeah.
I didn't calculate the points on any team until I finished doing all three teams.
Yeah, me too. I did the same thing.
Okay, then I tallied up and I thought, wait a minute. I've been saying, and I'm going to say it now. I've got them. If this all, I mean, let's face it. If every one of these predictions come in, and I don't put a bet on it, I've lost out on a hell of a lot of money. A hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
This is what I predict we're capable of doing. Do I think it will happen? No.
I think like a version of it will happen. Like there'll be some of these things that we'll get right and some of them that we'll get wrong. But I still think based on the fixtures themselves that this is going to be close to what we'll see. I think it will be between Arsenal and Spurs. You could flip it 71 for them, 70 for us pretty quickly based on a simple result. And like that would be the difference. I don't think United, as much as particularly United fans, and hopefully Paul's watching or Connie's watching, they'll chime in later on and tell us that we're wrong about United, that United somehow are gonna change the way they're playing. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to predict. Of course, the Spurs hat goes on a little bit, and you end up picking the teams that or the results that you want to see. Maybe more so than that is likely or that is expected. So, but yeah, you picked Spurs to finish in the top four, buddy. I'm glad for that. And everybody in the comments, I'm curious as to what you think about Brian's predictions here, from 51 points to 71 points, 20 points in 9 games. The win-loss draw ratios here. Do you guys think that this is accurate, or do you think Brian's fucking lost his mind completely? Do you think it's like Spurs bias coming into play, or is this sort of realistic based on what we've seen in the season so far? I think it's pretty realistic, Brian. And again, I don't think we're too far off. I think which we'll come to in a minute. I think points wise, total wise, who finishes first. I say first. Who finishes fourth? Who finishes fifth? Who finishes sixth? We're on the same as that. But let me bring mine up. And
let me just. So as I say, with this, when you look at it, obviously, this is what I expect of Tottenham from these results. Like what when we make our prediction, I'd love to see with the people in the comments if you did your tally up or whatever, how many points you saw each team ending and who would be your fourth, fifth, and sixth. Be really good to see it, and we'll pull some of those up. Oh wait a minute! Based on my results, apparently someone's saying that Arsenal get 72. Have I done the maths wrong?
I don't know. Did you? Let's
have a look. 54. Draw 55. Sure. Draw 55. Win 58. 59.
Oh man, this
62. 62. 65. 68. 71. No, I'm right.
Yeah.
Oh okay. No, Arsenal should be on 71 as well. Oh Jesus.
Oh, Brian, your math.
Oh okay. No, now it's goal difference. This is again. This is something where thankfully we've got our goal difference has started to pick up. Obviously, with the victories we've been getting, we've always been saying this is crucial. Yeah. I think what this shows, and I think it will show from yours as well when we go into it, is I think this 3-horse race has become a 2-horse race.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, I mean, it's easy to say that, and of course it will really come down to which United shows up and how, if they can show some consistency for the rest of the season and figure out who they are. But I don't think that happens in the last 9 games of a season with a manager who's really literally trying to figure it out. So let's get into mine real quick here. So I've also got Spurs on winning, getting fourth place on 73 points. Arsenal on 71, and I think United are going to be a little bit closer than what you had. I think it's going to be tighter from that perspective. Still very, very, very tight. But I think based on what we see here, I think my only issues here, and I'm sure in the comments, and please slag me if you want, slag me if the comments are wrong. I have. I keeps looking at the comments here, and apparently your math was wrong, Brian.
Oh, that's why I'm checking it again. I need to do this now. I'm gonna do it on the calculator because this is freaking me out.
Yeah, it's fine. I think everybody in the comments has done it on the calculator.
I'm gonna do it as well. And if I've done it 72, then I've got Arsenal as fourth, and I really don't like. See, this is where my Spurs hat has come on now.
Yeah. You probably got it wrong accidentally, guys. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it was 72. I probably should have checked the math. Sorry, folks, we got this wrong. We apologize, but. Let's look at mine while Brian's doing the math. I still have Spurs finishing fourth. I think probably the biggest issues with my results are those 4 wins post international break, and then of course 3 wins to finish in that final 70. Game against Arsenal. 54. Right, I'm just going, Brian, bring mine up. Just so we go back to you and I'll talk. So I've gone for a draw. 54 plus the 1 is 55. Plus 3. The win against Brighton is 3. Plus 1. Plus 3 against United. Yeah.
Plus 1 against West Ham. Plus 9 is now it works as 72. They were right. Everyone, why? And I've got my glasses on. My apologies, people. My maths has not been the strongest.
So this changes things a little bit, though, guys.
Everyone, thank you. So now I'm. Oh Jesus Christ! Now I feel really bad because I predicted Arsenal to get fourth.
So we need to fix that.
My bad, people. Get me a calculator for Christmas.
Yeah. And Brian, dude, what are you doing to me here? You know, I gotta make a new slate for it. No, we'll bring mine up, but But that's how close it is, guys. That's how tight it is. It's so freaking close that Brian's math goes out the window when he has to try to add it up. But yeah, like I said, I still have Spurs finishing in that place. Unlike Brian, I do think that we should have enough with the teams that we have left to get this result. I think finishing fourth isn't going to be. I won't say it's not that difficult. It's not going to be as difficult as everybody thinks it is based on the results we've had previously. Our results have been shit. Let's be honest about it. We played such inconsistent football. But the last 3 or 4 games, and I said this on Tottenham on Tour when we spoke about it, is form and momentum. Despite the loss against United, which was an anomaly against one of the best players that's ever played the game, who did what Ronaldo does. We played good football against teams that like West Ham that we've dominated them. We played very well. We've carried momentum through those games, and I think that's going to carry into the post international break, and I think we will see those 4 wins in a row are doable. Like, I don't think I'm crazy for thinking that. I think about Newcastle, and you think about Aston Villa's form, and you think about Brighton's form, and you think about Brentford. Like, those are 4 teams we should be beating. We should be beating them. When you get into the Leicesters of the world, there's a chance for a little bit of wavering. And of course, Liverpool, nobody expects us to beat Liverpool. But then Burnley, Norwich, who are arguably already relegated at that point, and then that big game, that big North London derby. And hopefully that's. I'm really curious as to when that gets scheduled, but that'll be a fun one to do.
I have to. I mean, you've got it a lot closer than me. I had a big gap between us, the Filth, and United.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping your one is right. I'm hoping my one is severely wrong because of my maths. I hate to.
Brian's apologetic. There's people still in the comments. If you're in the comments and you're saying it's 72, we know already.
Yep,
we recognize that there was an error in math there, and we apologize for that.
Oh no, I think they're saying again for you.
Oh, did I get the math wrong?
Have you done right? Let's get. If we've both done this wrong and both on the Filth, that doesn't bode well. So
no, you know what it bodes. You know what it bodes for is that at least I got it right. And that we're still finishing 4th.
Let's do this. Right, let's see this. Oh my God, here we go. It's happened again. It's happened again. So you've got 1 point.
Terrible. It's happened again.
6 points. Then 2 draws, 2 points. Then 3 wins, so 9 points. It's 72.
Okay,
we've both. So you are taking the piss out of me for getting it wrong.
I was taking the piss out of us,
we need to make a new slate. We need to make a new slate, and now you need to do it. So yes, do you know what you've made it?
Let's just take those off the screen, bro.
Yeah, because that I put the logo up on it. There we go. But yeah, you've got it a lot closer than me.
I think it's going to be tight. I do think it's going to be really close. Apologize for the numbers being wrong, folks. We put these together.
And it was both on the Filth. We
put these together at the last minute, and yeah, we apologize. Having said that, Brian still has Spurs not finishing 4th, and I have them finishing 4th. So
yes, so at least I was right. I'm sticking true to my prediction.
Get mad at him that Spurs aren't going to get there, and that
listen. Before we bring some comments up on what people think. Like I said, people start putting in your positions that you think that the 4th, 5th, 6th will be. Don't have to put points if you don't want to. So let's see what people have. But it is very, very close. And listen, I've been saying it all along. If we had Conte from the start of the season, I would have been saying top four all season long, and I'd still be saying it. I think defeats that we've had in this choppy 2022, where it's been win lose. So there you go. Like Josh Box has gone with my
with 5th, yeah, with your
5th and
accidental incorrect prediction.
Exactly, but you know what? And I mean, as much as we all want 4th, and like I said, as we saw it, and if our predictions are anywhere near what it is, it's a lot easier. It's a lot more doable than people. When you break it down in that manner, I think it's showing that it is doable. But for me, if we get 5th and we're back in the Europa League as opposed to the Conference, that's still
it's an improvement.
It's an improvement. It's something to build on. It's playing Thursday night, but it's in a better competition, and then we build from there. It's going to be very, very tight to the wire, but can you imagine if it does come down to the Spurs-Arsenal?
I really think it's going to. I think that game, that North London derby, is going to decide who finishes 4th.
I'm already going to tell people right now. I don't care if people I know that I work with are watching this. If it's a Wednesday and it's like at 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm going to have a migraine booked already, or some kind of illness or food point. I had jobs in England before. One of them was for. People know back home the Boris bikes. I used to do the customer service for them, like the green bikes we have here, Brian. And I tried to book Spurs Arsenal off months in advance, and my request got lost. They said, "Oh, Brian, it's too late. You can't have it." And I said to them, "Well, guess what? I will be phoning in." And I said, "I won't be phoning in sick. I will be phoning in the sick line to say, guess what? I won't be at work today. It's Tottenham Arsenal. I told you, don't pay me." And I did it. Thankfully, it didn't cost me my job, but if it did, I wouldn't have cared because this game I do not miss.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. Every opportunity I would have for work in that moment, I would turn down 100% because it's more important than most things on the planet at the moment. And again, it's incredible that it's going to come down to that. I'm excited about that, but obviously incredibly nervous. But it's a fun prospect. The top four is going to be
Up, Carl.
obviously a debate amongst Spurs fans. You can see it in the comments here. People, some people saying there's no way we finish fourth. Some people saying there's no way that we don't. It's kind of across the board. Nobody quite knows what's going to happen, but I just think we have enough. I think we have enough, and I think we have the right fixtures, and I think we have the right manager. And I think that hasn't been said enough when it comes to comparing the managers of the three teams. You look at Arteta, and you look at Conte, and you look at what's his nuts over at United there. Those three managers, who do you expect to get the best results out of the team they have, based on what we've seen in the last 3 or 4 seasons? Like it's Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte is the difference in this. If you put all three teams against each other at the same time and you said, here's 9 games to go, which manager do you think is gonna win the most out of those 9 games with the squad they have? You'd pick Spurs in a second. Like it would be no doubt, because we have a winning manager, a manager that knows how to get the job done when they need to get the job done. Ragnick is not even a manager; he's a director of football. And Arteta, despite him doing a good job, and we will give him credit for that, he has done a good job. But it's taken him a long time to get there. He's not in this type of scenario. He has no experience with it. He has no experience with like how to get the job done at the end when it needs to, other than maybe as a player. And even then, he probably doesn't have much of it. So I think when you look at all of it and you look at the fixtures that we have, I think the Spurs have the best chance. And I think that my predictions are most likely.
Manager wise, you are completely right. Now, Adam, I know you're in the back end, mate. We had a super chat from El Said. There he is. Look how quick he is.
Nice.
Mark my words. We are gonna. Oh, El Said. Let's have a discussion. Let's see what people in the chat. I mean, this is a thank you for the super chat, El Said. The boys will really appreciate it. And yeah, what we're trying to do, guys, any of you leave super chats, we've got Adam in the back end who will be joining us soon. He's manning the super chat, so we're going to make sure we do it at the correct times where we have time to talk, rather than just doing it and bringing it up. So every super chat will be read. And I've been told apparently I had 72 for both Spurs and Arsenal. So then it goes back to my maths. Jesus Christ. I need a calculator.
Both of us, though. I have to say, we apologize for our maths. It was done very quickly in a short period of time with the last minute situation. But our points still stand about what we spoke about. And sorry, Brian, you were going to say about
this. The thing I say this with Liverpool. Liverpool in the league, we have one of the most atrocious records you could ever wish. I think it's 3 or 4 wins in 94 years at Anfield. It's something like ridiculous.
It's yeah, it's really bad.
I mean, the thing is, it's not as bad as it's been at Chelsea, because these wins have come within the 26 years that we had. I don't think you can say we're going to thrash Liverpool. I mean, Elsa, you're entitled to your opinion, but going to Anfield, again, when they are right on song, and I can't remember if they would have played Man City before us or after us. I think thrash is going to be a big word to use. I can't see us getting a result there. I would bite, like right now, I don't know how you feel, Ireland. I would bite your hand off for a point. Absolutely bite your hand off and say take it.
It'd be huge. A point away at Arsenal, or sorry, away at Liverpool it's a huge point. That point is something that neither of us accounted for in our shitty math that we tried to do. Like if you add that one from both of ours, then the question about our crappy math goes out the window anyway, because that means that we both of us are comfortable in finishing in that 4th spot. So yeah, 100%. I think it'd be really rare for us to get it. I think if we're going to, it is with the momentum that we currently are on. If we can maintain it in the post international break, then there's a chance that point could happen. But not expecting it is probably the best position, because I mean, Liverpool are really rolling right now, and they've got some great players in there that are in a system that just is always functional.
Exactly. Yeah, we can all have faith. We can we obviously we can all have the faith that we can do something. I'm just going into this like looking at the form they're in, looking at the position they're in, looking at the front line that they can just make adjustments to as and when. The Cop, if they're still, and they will still be going for the league right then, will be the thing. And I have to say, Lewis Titmus has just done a great comment that I had to bring out. Yeah, math. I will stick to that, my man.
We accept our math. I
will definitely stick to that, and we'll go from there. But like I said, faith in going to Anfield, it's a very, very, very hard place for us to go. And if you remember, even before they won the league with COVID, but when they played the Man Cities in Brendan Rodgers last season, and the big teams were coming in, and the coach going down Anfield, and how the supporters are outside that ground, and the Cop in full effect. I've been to Anfield on many a time, and the Cop, when they're up, and it is you just got to look at this season with Arsenal, when Arteta tried to rile Klopp, and then the Klopp, and then the ruckus that just went up in the stadium. And I just can't. I'd love to say it. I'd love to say, do you know what? We've had such a horrible, horrible, horrible run there that let's end that run. I just can't see it.
Yeah, I think somebody mentioned in the comments, I think it was Kyle Patrick Vineyard, so good shout. I think this is the comment here. We won at Anfield in 2011 preseason, done the double over Liverpool. We went home and away. Yeah, that was an anomaly though. Let's just be really honest about it. Like there was a moment, and I think we beat Liverpool 4-1 that one time, Delhi with a Delhi goal and a Kane goal, and it was fantastic. We were playing under Poch, we're playing good football.
Yep.
There have been moments where we've been able to compete with Liverpool, but in the last six seasons since Klopp's been there, we've struggled. We have not been able to manage or deal with their press. And Spurs, under a press, as we know, struggle. We struggle, and especially under a press that's a Gegen press, like what Klopp likes to do. It's intense. It never stops. It's like from the first minute to the last minute, you're under the cosh, and you have to deal with that. And that is something we have to accept. And going to Liverpool when they are fighting for the league, in that scenario, is not. It's not. Despite
ideal.
What our form is, we could win every game going into that game, and I would still say we're not going to win this game. It's just they're a different level than us, and they have been for a period of time. We have to accept that, and if we do get a result, if we get a draw out of it or a point out of it, fuck me sideways. That'd be fantastic. I'd be incredibly happy, but I'd be incredibly shocked at the same time.
Exactly. I mean, there are quite a few people that are thinking we can do it, and everyone is definitely entitled to their opinion. Definitely, you know what I mean, that's what this is all about. And we shall see. We shall see where it ends up. And listen, it's going to be interesting.
This is a good one from King Huddle here. We're winning 6, drawing 2, and losing 1. They're winning 5, drawing 2, and losing 3, including against us. Spurs 71, Woolwich 71, and we're getting it on goal difference. I mean, that is some very specific shit, King Huddle, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, your math's probably better than ours.
Combined, yeah.
Yeah, combined. Hopefully that's the case. I mean, if we can get into the top 4, then across the board, then that's obviously the most positive scenario. So one can hope.
Exactly. So let's have a change of pace. There's another big. I mean, that's the top 4. That's the top 4 rolled in. And now what we're going to do as well, we will be manning the comments, but we're going to bring in the other third or another compartment of
a quarter. He's a quarter,
not
a third. There's 4 of us, Brian. There goes his math failing him again.
Quartet. Oh no, sorry. Oh, yeah, he's another part of the quartet. He is another part of the quartet.
No, you said a third though. You said a third, Brian. It's okay.
A third of the. Listen,
I'm
going to stop talking about math. We have A, we have B. We're going to bring C. D is in Danny Kiriakou. I don't know if he wants to come on. So he may be coming on. We'll find out. But yeah, we're going to bring on Adam Clark. So Adam, let's bring him in. Here he is. What's up, Adam?
Clarky boy, what's up, brother?
You're on mute.
You're muted, mate. You're muted.
Professionalism 101 here from us on Tottenham Tour. So yeah, happy to be back on this great channel. It's only my second time here, but look at, I'll have probably 4 more times or 3 more times after this to be on here. So I'm just like honored to be on such a big channel. And lads, your math skills or lack of has been literally I almost on the floor laughing. Like this is the biggest
I don't know
entertainment
how
I've
we
ever had
both got it
working with
wrong.
Scooby. Like
It's just it's a bit absurd.
oh, it's
I can't wait to
unbelievable.
have the chat with Ben and Sim about it. Just be like, sorry guys, sorry.
Yeah, well, no,
guys.
do you know what?
We're gonna roll on
We
the
made
pace as
some
well.
fun about it. We could exactly like Jamie Gitt just said. I could manage Spurs. I just need to stay away from the accounts, which is
What a
which is
compliment.
damn right because my maths has not been my friend today. Big
What's
up, Holly.
How you doing, Holly? Good to
Um,
see you.
Holly.
So yeah,
And-
just let people as well know that in 6 minutes for gold and silver members, the link to come on will be in the community section. We're gonna have a big talk about Defoe now, the three of us, and then obviously we will be bringing people on. So if you're a gold or silver member, you will have it in the community section at 9 p.m. UK time, which is 5 p.m. our time here Eastern. So please come and join us when we start bringing people on. But yeah, Adam, obviously, actually, Brian, do you want to read the? We'll go to Adam for his comments first, but do we want to bring up the the release and you can read that out, the statement?
Yeah, let's do that. So, as most people know, Jermaine Defoe retired from football in immediate effect today. Of course, it considered to be the changing of the guard for Spurs fans to some extent. I mean, Kane's been with us for a long time, but Defoe is, he's, I don't know, a special place in my heart. And the things he's done for Spurs and what he's done for football in general. He's a good man and a fantastic player. Here's his statement that he put out on social media today. After 22 years in the game, I've decided to retire from professional football. It's been a really tough decision and one I have discussed with my family and those closest to me. I made my professional debut at 17 years old in 1999, and I feel now is the right time to bow out. I've had an incredible journey and have met some amazing people in the game. Football will always remain in my blood, and it gives me the great pride and satisfaction to look back on the blessed career that I have had. I now look forward to spending some quality time with my friends, family, and before moving forward into the next chapter in my career. Thank you to all the fans and from each club I've played for. I have and received and endured throughout my career and will never be forgotten. And I will always have a special bond with you all. Thank you also the amazing teammates, coaches, and staff for playing such an integral part of my career. Lastly, I want to say thank you to my mom. You gave me a ball at 2 years old, and you made me believe my dream could happen. All that, and I am because of you, and I owe everything to you and to God. Wonderful statement from Jermaine Defoe. Wonderful player, wonderful man. Again, the stuff he's done on and off the pitch, absolutely fantastic. Ads, your first reaction to this? Jermaine Defoe, probably for you as a youngster, was one of the biggest players you saw coming up, like as a Spurs fan, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It's such a sad day for me because this guy, before Harry Kane and even Gareth Bale came along, was my Tottenham idol. He was my favourite player, almost bar none, in that team. He scored so many goals. And whenever the team sheet used to come out, like before the game, I used to always look for one name. And if he wasn't on, I was disappointed, whether we won or lost. And that was, of course, Jermaine Defoe. Before Kane, he was like, yeah, he was really the original Kane, really, to be honest, because just of the amount of goals he scored in his prime. I know he didn't win an awful lot out with us, but, he really did carry us at times. And he had a great partnership along with the likes of Robbie Keane as well. And it was unbelievable. He also played at the club, I think, for a while when Berbatov was there. So the three of them at the club at the same time. And of course, that's when we won our last trophy. So, I mean, when you think about that combo, it's not difficult to see why we won a trophy back then and with those three playing up front. But Jermaine Defoe, he was and still is like one of my favourite ever all-time Tottenham players and will be till the day I die, to be honest. I mean, the man is just like such an idol. I know like he kind of, drifted off a bit towards the end of his Tottenham career. But look at, he like found out like he basically kickstarted his career again when he was at Sunderland, had an okay time at Rangers and, like I'm happy for him as well. And I didn't know as well that he was in the game for that long. I mean, since 1999. That's
he's been playing for a long time. Yeah.
That's the previous century, like.
Yeah, he came and played for Toronto as well. Toronto FC, my local club.
Did he?
Yeah, he played for Toronto for a season, which was incredible. That's when it was actually Poch's first season when Defoe came to Toronto, which was incredible. Yeah, some amazing goals he scored, and he was, just such a joy to watch. Brian, any thoughts on your favorites from Defoe?
I mean, my relationship with, obviously not personal relationship, my relationship with Jermaine Defoe, or my attachment to him, shall I say, is very, very unique because when he first signed for us was actually when I was in my first when I was in the mental health unit in Enfield in Chase Farm with my first breakdown, and watching Spurs was always my little forget everything that's going on. And I really rated him at West Ham. You've got to remember, when he was at West Ham, he went on loan to Bournemouth, and the first thing he did was score in his first 12 games consecutively. So you knew he was obviously he was a small kid like Aaron Lennon. But when we signed him, I was ecstatic. I was absolutely over the moon in January. It was the month I actually was in the mental health unit, and obviously he gave us some wonderful, wonderful times in his first stint. Obviously, then went to Portsmouth with Harry. And then obviously the first thing he did was come back with Harry. And again, his first game back as a Spurs player with Harry was Portsmouth, and he scored the equaliser in a 1-1. He always scored. I think for every club, he always scored in his debut.
Yeah, it was a habit he had, a very good habit.
He had this uncanny habit of doing that. And as I said, I got married to my beautiful, wonderful wife in Toronto. It was my first time to Toronto. And I actually tweeted him because he was over here. Or before I get there, I actually was at his last appearance at Spurs, not as a player when the deal had been signed off. We're playing a team in Europe, and I was sitting in the Park Lane upper, and he came out and he did the halftime thing with Coity, saying about his final moments and talking about his time at Tottenham. He's talking about his favourite goals, and obviously his favourite goal that he said was a goal he scored against West Ham when he took the ball from the halfway line, took on a few players, shot outside the area. And he said he loved that goal. But I can remember I tweeted him and I was here going, listen, I've come over from Canada, London. I'm a huge York fan, a Spurs fan. I'd love it if you could come to my wedding, and sent him the details. And he didn't have to respond, but he just sent me a direct message. He followed me, sent me a direct message, unfollowed me saying, hi, Brian, I wish I could come. But I can't remember if it was Toronto FC commitments that they weren't in Toronto or something, whatever it was. It could have been a lie, whatever. But the fact that he took the time out to just respond to me was incredible. And I saw the video. Ilana sent me the video of the advert they made for Toronto FC and Jermaine Defoe's arrival, which was just insane, showing the London phone boxes and he's coming. It was such a big deal.
They made a big deal of it. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
It was a huge moment. And then obviously that was after his second stint with Spurs. He's given me so much joy. And then you got to remember the atrocity, the sad things he's had to deal with. I think he lost his sister and his brother, or sister or brother and a auntie or something, like two relations, very close relations, a year apart. And then everyone, like, well, I go back to like what I said when I was in the mental health unit, having the work this man does for charity, and then obviously it comes up for Bradley.
Yeah,
I mean,
unreal.
The connection, you could see it instantly from the very beginning when he first met Bradley, when he came into the Sunderland training ground, and what he did and still does for that family. And then obviously you saw the breakdown he had when he was at Bournemouth, when it was very, very near the end, and he darted up. He was absolutely. He's just an incredible player. Do you know what? What an incredible man as well. You don't get to say it a lot with footballers. Some of them get a bad rap or have an ego or act vain or believe they're hype or one of those. Do you know who I am? But Jermaine Defoe is in the category. It's an interesting
one with him because, and this was probably what I found incredibly strange because, you know, obviously being in Toronto, he came to play for Toronto. He didn't last for very long. He didn't light up the city or light up the score sheet. He scored some big goals, and you know, I think he scored probably 12 or 13 goals for TFC that season. But TFC fans didn't like him, and TFC fans got on, like, especially when he left, the way he left, they got on his back. And of course, you know, me knowing who he is and what he had done for Spurs and what he had done just as in his community as a player, I was just kind of like, guys, come on, like, you know, you don't really.
Yeah.
Like, he got, I think there was booing at some point one time, and I was just kind of, come on, you don't really get it. You don't really get Defoe. You don't really get the situation. He had come over, and his mother. I think his mother said, like, you know, I don't want you to leave, but he came over anyway, and there were some struggles there, and he struggled to adjust, and I think he did, and so did his family, and so it was a big deal. But I was like, you really should do a little bit of digging here before you throw Jermaine Defoe under the bus, because he is a solid human over and above one of the best strikers I've seen. Just clinical and fun to watch, and just scored some wonderful goals. And similar to Adam for me is when it came to being able to see watch Spurs play, he was the main striker when I was able to really watch him on a regular basis here in Canada. And I just amazing to watch, just inspiring striker, wonderful player. That goal against, was it West Ham, the one he cuts inside and he is the top of the 18-yard box, shifts his body over and just laces it near post. It's just ridiculous, like, finish, and
beautiful,
unbelievably fun to watch. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. One of my favorite players to play for Spurs before the sort of expectations as well. Now that we have all these expectations at Spurs, it's kind of, he just did what he did. He just did it because he was just good at it, and I love that. I love that about him. Yeah, wonderful player. And apparently, in an interview today, I heard him on TalkSport. He's talked about getting into coaching. Hopefully, he does that at Spurs. There's a chance for him there. That'd be fantastic to see. Yes,
I was going to bring that up. There's two things I want to bring up actually, but before I bring that up, I just want to say for the 235 people watching, we've got over 130 likes. It's amazing. Not a lot of you might have seen me a lot on this channel, but obviously Brian Ireland very rarely, and also Adam Clark. We do have our own channel, which is Tottenham on Tour. So I think Brian Ireland's just going to put the link to our channel on. There it is. It's in the chat, and if you could go over and give us a subscription if you're enjoying what you're hearing, please do come over. We have a lot of fun.
Our math isn't that bad on a regular basis.
We don't go into a lot of maths or calculations at any point, and I think everyone will know why. But the two things I wanted to bring up with Jermaine, the two things I wanted to bring up with Jermaine Defoe. First of all, I mean, if I was Tottenham Hotspur, I'd be on the phone to him right now, saying, "Listen, I think there was a comment there by a really good supporter of all the channels, Dan Fries, that said apparently we've already opened the door and said the door is open." We've all said that we need more football people at Tottenham. We've said that we need more legends that understand what we're about. And for me, Jermaine Defoe, whether it be as an ambassador like King and Dawson, or somewhere in the coaching staff like Mason, I think that has to be wrapped up and signed, sealed, delivered immediately, because he will be a huge asset to Tottenham Hotspur. Just like Ryan Mason. I mean, when Ryan Mason had his horrific injury, the first thing we did was said, "You've got a job here whenever you need it, or want it, not need it, want it already." And the other thing I wanted to mention is about Jermaine Defoe coming over here. I think, and I can talk as being a Londoner that's now moved out here. I think when Jermaine Defoe made this move, the MLS was very, very appealing to him. He knew he wouldn't have to come over and learn a language. Obviously, there's a lot of French speaking here, but he could come here and live very comfortably, with English. But I don't think Jermaine Defoe, and like I did, I mean, I heard Canada was cold, but my first indicator, like, I knew it was cold. Like when Ilana first flew over to me when we met after 6 years in 2013, she left during an ice storm in 2013 at Christmas, where it was like the city was in lockdown with ice, and I was like,
That was also rare, that too. So
no, it was rare, but this is what I'm saying: what Toronto could be like. And like when she was over, I said there's forecast of snow, and I said, "You do know if there's about that much snow, you're not flying, so you best call work." And she was like, "How can I say I live in Canada that I can't come because of?" So and then when you come here, the first thing I had to realise and get my head around how cold this winter would be is when Ilana came back in September because her visa ran out, and I came out in December. She sent me a WhatsApp saying, "Hey honey, I've just ordered your winter boots and everything." I was like, "Oh wicked, send me a link." So I looked at it, and the headline was "Water and heat resistant to minus 40 degrees," and I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" The weather conditions here in the winter, don't get me wrong, the summertime, I love. And I would take a Toronto winter back home in London for a Toronto summer. The weather conditions here are like, especially playing football, like Bobby Kay said, they're hard. And Catman just, no, I mean, it's just literally, this is no, but I'm saying from an Englishman coming here, it's like nothing. You coming to England, you're like in the winter, Ilana walked around with a t-shirt in December. We can't do that here. I think it would have been a huge culture shock to him on the weather conditions. And you got to remember as well, traveling to these games in the MLS, well, like Tottenham to Newcastle is like a very, very short journey here in the MLS. If you look at it, and the travel, I think that would have, not to say that he couldn't have handled it better, but I think these are are things that he didn't realise just how big this country is, just how far the travel is.
Yeah,
just
when you don't know, you don't know, and it could
exactly.
be like, oh shit, it's a bit of an eye opener for sure.
Yeah,
we got Mikey in the background here. I have to step out for 1 second, Bri. Can we bring in Mikey and we can?
Of course we can.
Start that.
Of course we can, and also just like I said, the link, as Mikey knows, it is now in the description. So anyone wants to join as a gold and silver member, please feel free to come in and join us. And then if we don't get a lot of people coming on, we'll put the description or the link in the chat so other people can come on. But yeah, Brian, you disappear.
Yeah, I'll be back in 1 moment, guys. My apologies.
All right, brother.
Oh,
you've just got rid of Mikey.
I didn't get rid of anybody. Mikey just bailed.
Well, hopefully, you go. Me and Adam will talk. Mikey will be back.
I'll be back.
Mikey will be back very, very shortly.
Right.
So yeah, Adam, talk to me about a couple of your favourite. Whilst we wait for Adam, your Jermaine Defoe favourite goals.
You know what? I'm going to kind of cheat a bit here. This is technically 5 goals, but it all happened in one game, and I can guarantee, know what I'm talking about. It was that unbelievable 9-1 win against Wigan. You know what? A memory I have from that game is my father, because even back then we couldn't watch the full game, so we had to watch the highlights afterwards. He didn't know what had happened, neither had I, because technology and phones and Sky Sports and apps weren't as big as they were now. So we had to watch Match of the Day to know the score. And honestly, when he kept going up and up and up and up and up, I just went. I remember going into the sitting room and asking what's the score, and he was like, "Well, it's 8-1 now." And I just my jaw could not have dropped further. If it had dropped further to the ground, it probably would have fallen off me. But obviously, I was delighted. I mean, 8-1, I would have taken that all day long, and I did take it as well. I was so happy. And then literally, as I was about to turn around, I just turned around to walk out the door. And we'd scored at 9th, and I just remember him shouting 9-1, and of course, I watched how many goals we scored and how the names of the players, and I just saw Jermaine Defoe and just what seemed an endless amount of numbers beside his name, and I was like, we have the best player in the world. I don't care. To hell with your Messis and Ronaldo. Jermaine Defoe is the man, best striker of all time, and all that. You could tell I was a 7-year-old kid who didn't know anything, but. I mean, at that time, Jermaine Defoe was already my favorite player, and he just when I thought my respect for him and my love for him couldn't go up any further, he does that. I mean, it's unbelievable. And of course, let's not forget, that was the season where we qualified first for the Champions League for the first time as well. So, he contributed greatly to that.
Exactly. I mean, I've put the link in the chat now, so it's available for anyone to jump in. If you haven't had the opportunity to come on because you're not a member, grab this opportunity, come and introduce yourself, come have some fun with us. We're going to talk about the top 4, how you thought it went, and then obviously Jermaine Defoe. I mean, that Jermaine Defoe game, the 5 goals was brilliant. But if I have to pick my favourite Defoe goal, it's going to come in a defeat, and it's going to come in a defeat against the Filth. And it was the 5-4, the most incredible, or one of the most incredible North London derbies in history. I think it was one of Martin Yole's first game where he just took it from a throw-in, breezed past players, and then from the edge of the area just curled it right into the top bins. It's a very special game for me because I was watching it in Israel with my other best mate Jerry, who was an Arsenal fan, and literally we couldn't get the pub open because it was a Shabbat. So one of the people on our kibbutz said you can watch it on our TV. So we watched it outside. And we drew a massive line down the middle. We put the beers in the centre. And we said, you can't cross this line. I can't cross this line. We put the cigarettes in the middle of the white line. But I sneakily left the lighter on my side. And I kept taking cigarettes. Like, can I have a cigarette? I was like, no, lighter's on my side. You can't have it. So I wouldn't give him a cigarette or anything. But that game was just such a kamikaze game. But that finish against Arsenal was just incredible. Incredible. What about yours, Brian? Your favourite goal?
I don't know if I have a favorite specifically. I mean, that one against West Ham was incredible. There's a goal against. I'm trying to remember who it's against. I'm just gonna have I was actually trying to find the team that was against. Give me 1 second here. I think it's United. It's the overhead kick, and I think it's against United.
In the very first few minutes.
Yeah. Oh my God, that It's ridiculous. Sorry, I'm watching it at the same time. Incredible overhead kick. I forget the specifics of it, but I don't. For me, Defoe was just like, it was a moment in like a couple of seasons where he just you would expect him to score, he would score, and it would always be like something brilliant. And he almost always did it himself. Like he would get a good ball to him, but he has the ability to just undress a defense very quickly when he wanted to, and just like make them uncomfortable, put them on their foot or on their ass, just make them really uncomfortable. I love that about Defoe, and always entertaining. It does look like we have a guest that we want to.
We have a guest that was at the Scotland Yard with us on Sunday.
There he is, Abdul. What's up?
Let's say hello. What's up, Abdul? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Can you guys hear me by any chance?
Yeah, mate, you're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
you're loud and clear. Like.
Hear you perfectly, sir. So let's start. Obviously, we'll do it in the order that we did the show on. So what did you think of our top 4 predictions, and where do you see yours?
Okay, so in terms of the top 4 predictions, like I'm gonna be real. Maybe like 3 weeks ago when we lost to who did we lose to? Was it Wolves? Was Wolves our last defeat?
Southampton, we had Wolves. We've had Burnley. Burnley was after Man City.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was Burnley. After the Burnley defeat, I was pretty much saying that, top 4 is practically done. But I mean, after these last couple of victories, I'm gonna be real. Listen, man. As a fan, it doesn't hurt to be optimistic, right? So, like,
no, it doesn't hurt. It feels great to be optimistic.
Exactly. So, like, if you're a fan that, let's just say a couple weeks ago, like myself, that said Tottenham does not have a chance to get in this top 4, and then all of a sudden after these wins, you're saying that they do have a chance. It doesn't make you a flip flop, and it's okay to change your opinion. I mean, so I think that's where I stand too. I still think Tottenham has a good chance to get in this top 4. Obviously, they have to be pretty much perfect in these next upcoming runs, or at least win the crucial game. So against the North London derby, we have to win that game. It's a must-win. Leicester City, we have to get a win. Obviously, Aston Villa coming up in Newcastle. You have to be pretty much.
We have to be ruthless, don't we? Like
you have to be. You have to go on one of those Liverpool, Man City type runs, and.
We have the fixtures to do it, though. Like, as we've seen, when you look at these fixtures, you got Newcastle, you got Villa, you got Brighton, you got Brentford. Those 4 first games post the international break, and this is why I picked like 4 wins in a row. I think it's hard to look at that and not think that we shouldn't get wins in those games, or at least we shouldn't win 3 out of 4. That should put us in good stead, no?
Yeah, like at this latter stages of the season, would you rather face a team that's in a relegation battle, or would you rather face like a team that's not really in a relegation battle, but they're obviously better, which is why they're not in a battle? So basically, would you rather face like a Southampton or Crystal Palace, or would you rather face like a Burnley or who else is in maybe
anybody
Watford.
Fighting for relegation, essentially, right? Because they're going to be harder to play against than a mid-table team who doesn't care.
You think so? You still think they would be a harder team?
I think if their wins determine whether they finish in a relegation position or not, they're going to be harder to play against, especially since Spurs struggle against teams that sit deep. We often have a hard time breaking teams down. Now that's improved recently in the last few games. Certain teams who have sit back, we've been able to dig them out and cut through the lines. But I do worry about that. Like the Burnleys of the world, we should have won that Burnley game that they won 1-0. Like we should have beaten them with the amount of possession, with the amount of arguably chances created. We should have had enough to beat Burnley. But Burnley did what a team who understands that that's what they're capable of did, and it was enough to beat us. And so we have to worry about those games, I think, a little bit more than, say, playing a Leeds or playing an Everton who are going to be super open and we can get in behind them quite easily. I think that's going to be something to look at those games and be like, we really have to focus on winning those ones. These other ones are going to be a little bit easier to get to.
Okay, I'm saying that because, like, if you go to a typical fan, majority of them are more nervous when we come up against an Aston Villa rather than when we come up against, like a Watford or Norwich. I mean, Norwich is probably relegated by now, to be quite honest with you, especially when we face them like last game. They're going to be done by then.
Yeah.
But, like, how come our fan base is not, like, why are we not as confident when we're coming up against Aston Villa, who has pretty much nothing to play for? And you've seen that against Arsenal. They definitely could have done a lot better against Arsenal. But again, the motivation is not there. So why are we kind of worried going into that game.
I think that's just Brian. You, in ads, you probably have your own thoughts on it. I think that's just generally like we expect it to be difficult because they're supposed to be a better team.
Yeah.
But when you look at the statistically what we struggle against, the teams that have made it uncomfortable for us aren't the teams that are open and want to play football. It's the teams that want to sit deep and put up a low block. We struggle against those teams because we haven't had the quality to break them down. Having said that, we've started to. But Brian or Adam, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
After you, Adam.
You know what? I mean, when it comes to breaking down the teams, yeah, I know we haven't been very great this season doing it, but with the way we're starting to play at the minute, with the consistency we're starting to get again, and also just with the better way we've been playing, especially out from the back and even on the counter attack, I think it's going to be a lot easier for us to break down those teams. But also the thing about the relegation team is that at this point of the season, they're fighting for their lives. I mean, I've lost count as how many times as a Tottenham fan we were fighting for top four. Or like since I became a Spurs fan, we've been fighting for top four, and we come up against the relegation tier side at this point of the season, and they end up beating us like 1 or 2-0, like just those really frustrating
Difficult
scorelines.
games, right?
Yeah, so they're going to be up for it almost as much as we are. Or I say almost because I'd like to think that we're always up for these games, that we're going to be up for these last run of games now towards the end of the season after the international break.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always said it, and I now look about what I said as well with Arsenal beating Leeds. I would rather play a mid-table team than a relegation-threatened team, especially if it's away, because it's not just survive. Obviously, survival for that football club is imperative and for the players, but obviously, if they go down, it's a 50% wage cut. There's certain staff that get fired within or released because they can't afford to pay him because of the drop in finances. So I always think that it's harder to go to someone that's really, really fighting for something rather than someone, let's just say a Villa who may be bottom mid-table and maybe trying to get up to 7th, 8th, 7th, whatever way you want to look at. Numbers again, Jesus Christ, what is it? Today I'm going to finish and do maths for dummies ready for tomorrow. But yeah, I think it's a lot harder to play away at these relegation threatened teams because they really have, and the crowd in these occasions are really, really pumped up because obviously it means the world to them. It means everything to them. So yeah, where did you have us, Abdul, in the 4th, 5th, or 6th? Where do you see it?
You know what? I think the top 3 remains the same. I'm gonna say 4th. Well, whatever. Yeah. Let's just go for it, man. I mean,
yeah, why not?
I mean, yeah, like Arsenal. Okay, obviously it depends on Arsenal, and the 3 losses that we suffered in a row. Kind of, we no longer control our own fate, basically.
Unfortunately, we screwed ourselves, didn't we, a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Those 3 straight losses, we should have gotten at least like 5 points out of that. So, but I mean, listen, these top 4 challenges, man, these constantly fluctuates. It all comes down to how well Arsenal can take those games on, basically, how consistent they can become.
Yeah, they've got teams to play against that are more difficult. We have Liverpool. They've got Chelsea, Man U, and Liverpool, I believe.
But like the question, the reason why I brought up the first question is because like if you're Spurs, would you rather face Crystal Palace, which is who Arsenal is playing, which Crystal Palace is a solid team, or would you rather face Newcastle? I don't know if Newcastle can really be considered a relegation.
I think they're past it. I think
they're out.
They fought their way out of it they bought their way out, and arguably they did well in January enough to to make themselves comfortable. So yeah, I don't think that's a huge issue for Newcastle. I think you're looking at those bottom 3, like and Norwich and Watford kind of. It's really Burnley, Leeds, and Everton. Those 3 teams are the teams that are trying to stay out of that last relegation spot. If you play those 3 teams, those are going to be difficult games. They're going to be really hard to play against. They're gonna do everything they possibly can in that scenario to try to at least get a point. And if they can get that point's going to potentially get them outside of that relegation position. If you're playing them, then those are difficult games. But you're also, if you're playing Chelsea or United or Liverpool,
you never want to face those teams. It doesn't matter where they are.
They're fighting for even bigger things, and they're way better when it comes to the quality that they bring to the table. So we have to be, have to be cognizant of that and worried that you know there's potential for dropping points there are obvious, but dropping points I think against those teams that are fighting relegation are the ones that they're more difficult games. I think they're harder to play against. We'll have way more of the ball. We'll control the game. We'll get a shitty set piece and we'll defend poorly against it, and they'll get a 1-0 win or some shit like that.
Do you know what, Abdul, as well? Now moving it over to a true Spurs great, and obviously you as well being a fellow Torontonian, obviously you have that connection with Defoe that Brian Ireland did, and I had for England and whatever. What's your thoughts basically on his retirement and what Jermaine Defoe meant to you, and obviously what it meant when he came to Toronto?
Okay, Jermaine Defoe, probably one of the most underrated players to ever play in the Premier League. Like it's kind of hard to. He's easily one of the, like when you compare his numbers, his accolades to a lot of what we consider greats, he's definitely up there. He has a consistency. This dude has been playing top football even well into his late 30s, playing in Rangers too, playing very good for them. Obviously playing in Sunderland, being a legend for them too, scoring big goals for them. Obviously for Spurs, doing amazing things for us. He's a modern professional. He's a type of player that every fan loves him. Even if you're a rival fan, you don't really hate. Like if you go even into Arsenal fans, they don't really hate Jermaine Defoe. Obviously, they may dislike him because he played for us, but I mean, he's a player that you can't hate, and a proper role model to all the players out there. And like I said, a modern professional. Yeah, go ahead. You were saying something.
I was going to add to that, Abdul. On top of that, you take a player like Dane Scarlett, who I could see kind of modeling himself after Jermaine Defoe to some extent, as far as his body type. He's smaller. He's got a lower center of gravity. He's kind of like you would see him playing similar type of football. I'd love to see Defoe at Spurs, like dealing with those academy players, dealing with those younger players, showing them what he has done for as long as he's done it for. Because he, like you just said, he's the epitome of what you want from a professional, and would be really, really good for our younger players for sure.
Where does Jermaine Defoe rank among the top EPL goal scorers? Is he top 10? Am I mistaken for?
He surely has to be top 10. I know definitely he's top 10 Tottenham goal scorers. That's the one thing for sure.
He's up there.
Yeah. I don't know if he's made the top 10, but I have to say, and I need to bring this up because a fellow Canadian said it. Catman Jess actually reminded me, and my favourite goal isn't the Arsenal goal. If people remember that 3-1 defeat against Manchester City in Gareth Bale's last season, when Lewis Holtby passed the ball out to him wide in the corner, and he just stepped outside and then just whipped a shot from the edge of the area right round Vincent Kompany into the middle of the goal, like far post, but in the middle. It's a sensational goal. He just walloped that ball. That goal against Man City. And Catman, just speaking of the person, and Dan Fry,
Thank you for confirming
he's
that.
ninth.
Yeah, he's ninth. Yeah, 162 goals and 496
that's a
games.
Massive feat, right? Like he deserves a shit ton of credit.
Exactly. Yeah. Like when you think of like great goal scorers, like for example, somebody like Mo Salah, which he's been here for a couple of years and he has a bunch of goals. Mo Salah's nowhere near Jermaine Defoe and the type of goals that he has in his career. So and also again, his transition to the MLS. I'm not gonna say like he was like the most famous MLS player or like he had the type of impact that like David Beckham had or like Robbie Keane, how like kind of, I guess making the MLS more popular, more global. But I mean, he was massive. Like when he came to the MLS, like he actually dominated that league. Like I thought that he was kind of done, but like he came in and he was just scoring tons of goals.
He had injury problems though, didn't he, Abdul? That was his issue because when he played, he scored. Like he was so effective. Out for like half the season in the first season he came in. I think he played a season. But
the thing that surprises me, obviously, I didn't know he was getting booed over here, as you were saying, Brian. But then they've had who was probably one of the worst strikers.
Not during the time.
When he left. But I'm saying I mean, they brought in one of the worst. I don't even know if he's still there, but when they brought Josie Altidore, who at Sunderland
was amazing for teams.
Yeah, but it was one of the worst strikers I've seen in the Premier League.
Yeah, Stoke City, right? I think he was for his friend from Stoke. I
think Sunderland. Sunderland, same kit, Abdul. Different team, but yeah, and it's like Jermaine Defoe is just obviously a huge. We're all very, very biased, aren't we?
We are for sure.
I think it's fair to say we are.
Abdul, we have to say goodbye because we've got somebody else
no worries.
in line for us.
One thing I just want to ask Abdul, two things I just want to they're very quick answers. Abdul, you saw that the table's booked for Aston Villa, yeah?
Yeah. I seen it. Yeah.
So I'll see you there. And then
I didn't know you had to
secondly,
book it. I didn't even know. I thought you just walked in.
Yeah. I always, so basically, when you're a member of Toronto Spurs at Scotland Yard, to make sure you get a table. I mean, my table where we sat, the table we sat at is my table, but I always send it in just to make sure they know that I'm coming. So that table is mine, so your seat's confirmed. But obviously, the big question today is today the day Canada confirmed their World Cup status as confirmed qualified? Do they get the 3 points today?
100%. We're getting the 3 points undefeated.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other
league, top of the division,
top of the division. Exactly. Easily, we're winning that game against Costa Rica. I wanted to go to that Jamaica game, but it's pretty much going to be useless by now. I think Canada's going to be qualified.
I got offered tickets, but it was too expensive for a game that won't matter too much. But yeah,
exactly.
Am I right in saying it's just a point that they need from these 3 games?
Yeah.
Yep.
And where are Costa Rica in the rankings right now? So is this should be
fifth or
were they fifth?
Yeah,
I think they're fifth or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's away from home, so it's a little bit more difficult, but they've been really good across the board. So Canada should get the job done tonight, and looking forward to that. 10 o'clock Eastern. It'll be way too late for many of you.
It'll be late. Yeah,
but if it's fun to watch Canada be actually very good. Alphonso Davies, unfortunately, is injured and isn't going to be around for this international break. But get him healthy for the World Cup because he's a fantastic player, and Canada looking good right now.
There we go. Well, Abdul, it's been a pleasure, brother.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
I'll see you around. Obviously, we're doing the fan show as well tomorrow, where we're going to have fans mainly from the beginning. So feel free to come into that. But Abdul, always a pleasure, buddy.
All right, take care, everybody. Have a
good later, buddy.
Bye bye. Peace.
Bye bye. Okay, so the next guest is a very big regular. Everyone loves him. Let's welcome Kyle, or KPV, as Ben would say. How are you, Kyle?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good. So what did you think of the top 4 predictions we made, and what would yours be?
I'd probably obviously put us ahead of Arsenal. I'd have 73 points for Tottenham. Ow, what was that all about?
Watching a game there, Kyle?
Oh, you're watching. What game are you watching, Kyle?
Wales, Austria. As you know, 2 goals from Bale, and Austria get one back from Ben Davies' own goal, as I've just seen. I believe Rodden's been failed. But yeah, as I said. But yeah, I put us on 73 points and the Scum on 71 points, not 72, because they're not gonna beat Palace as their way against their former captain, who I know they've been on a bad. They've just beat Everton 4-0 in the FA Cup, but I expect Palace to at least win. Obviously, I don't want Arsenal to win because I just can't stand them. No one likes Arsenal.
Exactly. I hope they actually come 6th, but I just can't see it. I just can't see it, Cole. So a lot of people, I think, and Brian would agree. A lot of people in the whole Tottenham fixture list we were looking at, there was really mixed debate and a good discussion about the Liverpool game. What's your thoughts on going to Anfield? What are you feeling?
I'd actually take a draw because we already took points off them in December in that 2-2 draw at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Kane and Son, I actually wouldn't mind a draw because I did say to some of my friends before the game I would take a draw. And even though we're not, our record there isn't good, as I said just a couple minutes ago, we won there under Harry Redknapp and Van der Vaart, Modric. But I'd happily take a draw. Then that would be brilliant. Not a loss because we never do good there. I'd happily take a draw, not a loss, because Firmino always scores and Salah does, Mane, but Robertson, I can't stand him. After what he did to Emerson Royale, straight red, kicking him in his ankle, seriously. Scottish twat, no one likes the guy. What he did was complete disrespect. He should have even had a yellow card for fouling Harry Kane. Kane didn't touch him. Robertson touched him first. Like, yeah, like Doherty's probably better than Andy Robertson. I know Liverpool fans are probably going to say that on Twitter, but shut up. Doherty's starting to become good. Robertson, not that good. So good luck, kiddo, but put some respect on Kulusevski.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He's been brilliant, hasn't he, Kyle?
Yeah,
Fantastic
he's been
player.
brilliant. And he's actually been my favourite player. I like the others, but I actually like Kulusevski. He said he's happy, but I heard, Brian, you said you don't want to buy him this summer.
So yeah, no, you know what it is? We had this discussion on Tottenham on Tour. And I have to say, when we're talking about Kulusevski, there was someone in the comments a while ago, and if he's still here, just say it was me, and I'll give you a shout out, who actually said, watching the Sweden game, that Kulusevski is miles ahead of the Swedish team. Like he's too far advanced for them. He's running the show. So if you're still there, please feel free to say it was you, because what I was saying with it, Carl, we've got an option to buy him this summer, and I think it's 30 million. Euros additional to what we put, or we have an obligation if he plays a certain amount of games, over 50% Premier League games, which we know he will, or if we qualify for the Champions League, for 35 or 40. And what I was saying is, I wouldn't take the buy and use the option for him now, when we're going to initiate the obligation next season. There's no doubt we're going to sign him, but
way, right?
I would either way he's going to sign. Why spend 30 million on a player, or whatever the deal is, to get that player, who's still going to be at Tottenham next season, when we could use that, because I'm not going to get into that person and the transfer money and whatever, but I'd rather we have that 30 million able to address to spend on the squad and get Conte's players in, because you've got to remember as well that 50 million is going straight out the door for Romero. That's going out the window. So do I want to see another 30 go out, making it 80 million of our budget? And then it may impact who we bring in when Kulusevski is going to be there next season. He is going to play more than 50%. If Conte's still there, we will get Champions League. For an extra 5 million on the obligation, I would want to do it then. I don't know how other people feel about that. I just think that 30 million could be spent building up another player or two for Conte, rather than a player that we've already got for next season.
I probably agree with that. Like, the players that Conte wants, I don't know, like De Vrij or whatever, but yeah, I probably agree with that. Like, I'd probably maybe wait till maybe, I don't know, whenever, but yeah, even though he's already going to be there, but yeah, 50 million for Romero is over going out the window, but yeah, that might as well sign him. But I just checked, and apparently we're not interested in signing Golini on a permanent deal, because Conte's not been impressed with him enough. So he's not been good. So he can go back to Atalanta. We're going to keep Romero anyway, because he's going to sign permanently.
Big news from Carl Simpson. Italy are out
of the World Cup qualifiers.
The reigning European champions
You're joking.
are out of the World Cup. And I was talking about this on Tottenham Tantrum Gold earlier, because that tie worked out that it's Italy and Portugal in that kind of tie to compete. So it's obvious one of the big hitters were going out, and now the champions of Europe aren't going to be there. That is huge. That is huge. And anyone stay away from Iggy for the night.
They lost to North Macedonia.
What?
North Macedonia, they've lost to 1-0.
I said that to Henry White after the West Ham game on Sunday. Like, he said he wanted Portugal to miss out. But Henry White and Josh, wherever you are, what did you say? You wanted Portugal to miss? Well, bye-bye, Italy. And I hope Brian Daigle heard this, but you look a bit like Bonucci, Brian.
do you know what? I will take that, because I've been called I've been called our chairman. I've been called Mora. I've been called other things. So Bonucci, I'll take it. And Amzo, I think we said it at the same time. I don't think it's good to check on Iggy right now. Iggy, you probably don't want to give Iggy a message right now. But Carl, let's talk about Jermaine Defoe.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Jermaine Defoe. How do you feel about Jermaine Defoe? What do you want to say about him and your favourite moment?
Like, I think he made the right choice because, and apparently we've opened the doors for him to come as a coach. I would happily take. But my favourite Defoe goal was the one against United at White Hart Lane, the overhead kick.
That's
we
the one.
moved,
That was my choice. It's so
goal.
good.
Yeah.
Such a good goal, right? Oh my
yeah.
god.
I know we lost twice to them. The season we got. Oh, Wales have just won 2-1, but they've got one more game to play. So
Okay, so they're good.
Nice.
yeah, and yeah, even
Yeah,
though
Wales is Scotland or Ukraine, so who knows when that game is going to get played or if that game gets played. So for Wales, it's kind of you've got through, but God knows when you're going to play that game. But sorry, Carl, back to you and Defoe.
yeah, this season we got top 4 under Harry Redknapp was when the Etihad went mad that night when Couch scored that goal against City. That was the season, I believe. I think Defoe got 12, 13 goals that season, but 5 against Wigan, unbelievable. I think, yeah, Defoe scored 5 against Wigan. Berbatov got 4, though, but Defoe, Robbie Keane, I think, but Defoe's a legend of the game, and yeah, love the guy. Hopefully, we'll see him as a coach, and him, Lady King, Michael Dawson reunite, and 3 great players. Would be nice to see him as an ambassador with those 2.
Great show. Great show.
Yeah,
That'll be the dream team.
Love to see
Yeah.
it.
Dream team, and yeah, but that probably has to be my favourite Defoe goal. Not the North London derby. I know people probably here, but I have to say the Man United game. That goal was brilliant. But yeah, he scored probably not against Chelsea, if I'm right. He didn't score against them, but it has to be the Man United one at home. But yeah, pretty good. Love the guy. Wish him a happy retirement. All the best for what he does. Hopefully he's always welcome to come to the new stadium and watch every game. And he said he'd rather be in a Tottenham dressing room other than a West Ham one.
Yes,
There you go.
Hey, legend.
There you go, Carl.
Good show, Kyle.
But yeah, he said he'd rather be in a Tottenham dressing room other than a West Ham one. So yeah, love the guy, and I'll hopefully see him soon because I'd love to see him. Can we please have a testimonial for the guy, please, Spurs official? Make it happen.
It won't happen. It won't happen. I can tell you now. We didn't get one for Jan Vertonghen. We didn't get it. It's not going to happen, and I'm not going to go into the reason why because I'm staying clear of that topic right here, right now, Carl.
As well.
So, Carl, we've got another person to bring on, my man. So, do you have any?
Appreciate you having
any closing comments?
Yeah, I'm going to say this. Fuck the Arsenal, and yeah,
yes,
I hate Chelsea.
Brilliant.
I hope that Chelsea should be stripped of the Premier League title from 2016-17 because we actually had the best defensive record that time. We ended their 13 winning streak when they came to the old White Hart Lane. So Dele Alli loves a goal against them. Hopefully he will, but they're probably going to go down anyway, Everton. So who cares? And as always, Levy out.
There you go, Carl, brother. We'll speak to you tomorrow, buddy. Always a pleasure.
See you soon, pal.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
On your Spurs.
Okay, just before we bring on the last guest, it will be the last guest right now because my wife's finished work and we've got to get dinner, and then obviously there's a big football game. Oh, it's 10 o'clock Eastern, you said, but yeah. So before we bring him on, like I said, we're going to be here for the next 4 days, Tottenham on tour. Brian, if you just pop the link to our channel in once again, obviously. And then, once we've done that, we're going to bring on the final guest of today, who's becoming a We Are Tottenham TV regular, who's actually becoming a bit of a media whore like myself. He's living in mine and Danny Kiriaku's and everyone's footsteps. He has 58. He has 58 names. But I'm only going to name a few of them, and then he has a song. So it's something inside so strong.
What's up?
Oh no!
I don't even know what to say. What's up, Barry? Is that even?
It's
right?
Barry, Nick, Sean, Phil, Grant, Arthur, Frank, Nigel. Dr. Leg has been added to it by Mark Swift. Ranjit from Bob Spur. How are you, Barry, brother?
How are you,
I'm good. Just to let everyone know in the chat, Iggy is okay. I've just had a message from him. I've said "uh-oh" was the only 2 words I've said to him, and he said 32 total shots. We haven't got a striker. So they only had North Macedonia 2 shots on target. Italy 32 shots, 5 on target. So it just goes to show that.
Christ.
Yikes!
Crazy.
That's brutal for Italy to be not in the World Cup after being European champions.
Is
That
it a World
exactly.
Cup without Italy?
crazy.
Like really, like Italy are like a staple of the World Cups, especially after
Bonkers
Italian
they're not
90.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's
do
so weird.
you know what I mean? Nick and I were on the same show this morning on Dermot's Tantrum Gold, and I spoke
Who's
Brian Ireland.
Nick? Who's Nick?
Nick, Barry, Sean, Phil, Grant. I think I might have said this. So yeah, sorry, I called him by his. It's so weird when I call him by his
I
real
don't know
name.
who Nick was either, Brian.
Exactly. Yeah, but we were talking, Ireland, about when you and me were going to bet on that if we won the Euros, England are going to win the world. Do you remember that when we were sitting in the and we got to it? And I actually still think England are going to get to the final at least, just because I think playing in November, the players are going to be at full fitness or full sharpness going into this, and having a big team like Italy out, a Colossus team, makes it even, or not even easier, but it does make, obviously there's one big hit team definitely not going to be there now, but we'll have to see. But it's a huge shock, and those stats that Iggy just said, my word. But Barry, top four, what we discussed on the top four, and where do you see it?
Like I've been saying the last few weeks, is just one game at a time. I think it's going to, I think we get to the Liverpool game and then we see where we are. We've got that run of 5 games. We want, obviously, Romero, if he's going to get his 2 yellow cards, to probably get him in the first 2 games. So then
get him early,
he's then suspended because I think I know there was a bit of debate last night and a few times. The understanding is that the Arsenal game is going to come between Liverpool and Burnley, which means if he then picks it up and is suspended for Liverpool and the Arsenal game, then God Christ, I don't even want to think. I don't even want to think about it.
So Spursy, wouldn't it be? So Spursy for that time.
I can't remember. Barry, can you remember? I can't remember if there was a time. I know it's from now. I can't remember if it gets into the last 2-3 weeks of the season where that yellow card rule just becomes none of. I can't remember if there is a point now.
It goes away. What week is it? Man, I just read this the other day. I apologize for not remembering.
Isn't it after the 3 weeks, the 3 games, the first 3 games?
Yes,
after that,
that's it. It is. It's the first 3 games. He has to get through that, and then it's wiped clean.
So if he only picks up 1 yellow card in the next 3 games, he ain't got to worry about yellow cards for going.
Yes, correct. That is correct. But
Romero,
that's 3 games. That's 3 games, and that's Romero in 3 games.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Even pick up 3 yellow cards in 1 game for fuck's sake.
Yeah, we were talking about yellow cards. We didn't talk about red cards, right?
Yeah, exactly.
One thing at a time.
It's a 2-game suspension if he gets if he accumulates as well. So you lose 2. Losing him for 2 games is it's a nightmare for Spurs.
Let's just see, right? We can all enjoy it, right? So we've seen some shocks. We've seen some shocks tonight, and I was talking about sport throwing up some shocks, right? And you wouldn't put it past Spurs going on a run now and then just seeing what happens at the end. But that's why I want to say 1 game at a time, because we're very good at getting ahead of ourselves. We're very good at talking about who Arsenal have got to play, who Chelsea have got to play, who United have got to play. All these teams.
Nick, that's literally this show. Okay, we had to do it.
I know, but you've got to do it. But I'm going to come here as the voice of reason to kind of bring it all together at the end and say,
appreciate it.
Thank you for your show that you've just spent about 2 hours talking.
Even though we got our maths
who's playing
completely wrong.
The maths, who's going to finish on 74 points or 75 points. I saw a thing from Alistair Gold earlier that said that we finished 1 point above Arsenal and everything else earlier. So look, we're going to keep talking about it, but we want let's enjoy tonight. You guys, Canada need a point tonight?
1 point against Costa
Rica, qualify
and
make it happen, Canada.
First World Cup since the early 80s. I think it was 84 was the last World Cup.
86. I thought it was 82, but it was 86 in Mexico. So and I'm just reading in the comments from the Pixelated Gamer. 92nd minute is when North Macedonia scored.
Yeah, they literally. That's why everybody freaked out. It just happened.
My God! Yeah. And then the one below it, Hotspur TV, saying Kulu has swelling under his left eye. So let's hope that goes down.
He'll be fine. He's got a couple.
Let's hope that goes down.
They've only got 1 game, haven't they? They've only got tonight's game, so they're not playing in midweek. So after tonight,
that's it.
Oh, Sweden. Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I was doing it earlier. I was the main issue is going to be, of course, Argentina, Brazil, because they play late on Wednesday morning, so they're going to get back. They're not going to be great until probably Friday.
Will
Saturday.
Romero
wait a minute.
play
Is that the game? I was just about to ask that because he's suspended for 2, but they've appealed it to try and get him fit for 1, and I didn't know that 1 could be Argentina, Brazil.
Yeah.
And the concern with him is obviously he picks up and every time he's gone to Argentina, like the last one, he was out for 3 months. I just hope this Brazil game he doesn't go absolutely batshit crazy mode. But yeah, so Nick, the one we're really talking about today, we've discussed the top 4 is obviously the man of Jermaine Defoe, the man, the myth. Your feelings about him, your moments.
Just just incredible. I mean, we were talking about it a minute ago, actually, and I guess for me, whenever you mention that 9-1 game where he scored 5 goals, that that's the game that kind of I kind of remember. Also him telling West Ham just after they got relegated that he wanted to put in a transfer request, pretty much straight away. And obviously everything he did at Sunderland with young Bradley. Just incredible. They don't really make players or strikers like that. There was a time when he pulled up at the side of the road and started playing football for 2 or 3 hours
with Harry Kane.
With Harry Kane, and Harry Kane said to him, that you realise that was me that you were playing football with, and then I subsequently found out tonight that it was Jermaine Defoe that said to Harry Kane, take that shirt, that number 18 shirt, because there's goals in that shirt. And how true,
right, he was
brilliant stuff.
How true that was, in that first season with Kane wearing that number 18 shirt.
You look at Klinsmann, Defoe, Kane.
Just insane. And it's just, obviously he went to Sunderland. Obviously something's happened. I don't quite know what's got him to that decision, because he was very keen on, trying to continue probably till the end of the season. So something's
he said in an interview today on TalkSport, he said, I came to the conclusion based on training that I was behind everybody. Like I couldn't run as fast. I couldn't respond as quick. I didn't think I was offering anything to the team anymore. And I was getting in the way rather than being, helpful. That's a good teammate making that type of decision. Difficult decision, but if it feels like he's bad for the team, then good for the team. Then I think that's where his head was at, and that says a lot about him as a character. Again, I guess you're better off without me right now, which is an odd thing to say about Jermaine Defoe.
I guess where Sunderland are in League One as well, they're pushing for the playoffs, and he doesn't want to detract from that.
Don't want to get in the way. Yeah,
for that to be the reason where because there's probably 4 or 5 teams that can get those last couple of places, and he wants Sunderland to probably focus on that, because they've been there 2 or I think 3 seasons that they and they should be getting back up to the Championship and potentially challenging to get back into the Premier League. So I think and that just again shows the type of player that he is and the character that he is, to sit there and go, I'm not going to sit here, I'm not going to take the money, I'm not going to do it
exactly.
Whereas he could have just gone, let's just have another couple of weeks, another couple of months till the end of the season. Then
he could have milked it if he wanted, but he's an unselfish guy, right? And I think that's what it comes down to. He made a decision that was better for the club he was playing for, and hopefully for their sake that it works out. But it's class from Defoe. It's what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. And that comes back when we've spoken to ex-players and Steve Perryman and Mickey Hazard, and that's the kind of Tottenham DNA that he's got inside him to say, that's what I want to do. I'm not going to do all these things and carry on and make it about me and have this grand hurrah at the end of the season, or look at me and my career and everything else. It's just a shame. The one thing that is a shame is that he never really kicked on in terms of having a massive goal scoring season. He gets kind of 15. And then that was kind of
pretty static at that same number all the time.
15 and stop, 15 and stop, 15 and stop. But fond memories at the Lane, fond memories, for goals he scored for England, and just incredible player, incredible person,
Yeah.
You know what? Whenever he came back to Spurs, he loved being back at Spurs. He always showed his appreciation. He really does love this club. And the biggest thing for I'm just so happy he's won a league title. All right, it was in Scotland and whatever, but it was an undefeated. It stopped Celtic getting the 10, and he's a league winner, which Jermaine Defoe deserves to be called. And I just hope and pray, even by the end of the season, we see an announcement that Jermaine Defoe has rejoined the club in some form of capacity.
Yeah. Great to see
even if it's to coach the young, like I think you were saying earlier, Brian, to coach
Scarlett, like coach, to see him getting those young strikers playing the way he played, because he was quintessential last man, like skin a defender. Great finisher of the ball, like just he all those attributes that you could see Scarlett having, especially his physicality, the style, like his stature, and he's the right man to do that and to get the best of those types of players. And we've had a few of those in our ranks. Ads, you want to add something, buddy?
Do you know what would be great is if he was reunited with Ledley King, his old teammate, and he was made an ambassador for the club or something. That would be just poetic.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic for sure. He deserves it.
Yeah. Just a quick break. We've got a super chat from Superman. So Adam, just bring up Superman's chat, which is Bale did his thing, but Rodon was immense tonight. Italy out too. Anyone heard from Iggy? I think there's going to be a hashtag Where's Iggy on Twitter. Great show, lads. Professional-ish as always. Yep, our maths Bob was terrible. It's great to see Superman in the building, and obviously everyone remember the Superman show in the Wall is back on Saturday at 10:30 UK time, which is 6:30 Eastern. I am to be privileged and honoured to be on that show, and I'll be with Brian Ireland as well, so he'll be with me. As I say, the crown jewel in the Tottenham Hotspur community is going to be back on YouTube, and it's wonderful to see. But yeah, Jermaine Defoe, your favourite goal, Nick? Barry, Sean, Phil, Grant. I can't say your first name without repeating.
Just any one of those five against Wigan. It was just I think it was just
same here.
It's hard to pick one of them. It's just that game that just personifies and him, the Jermaine Defoe, really. So
that's the thing about Defoe too, is like it wasn't necessarily a specific goal. You can pick one and they'd all kind of be is equal as far as the quality. It was always like a really good goal in a moment. He just had that ability to do that. And you can't pick one out of the other. They're all like just epic. And it's like fucking Jermaine Defoe. Quality. Absolute quality.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Do you know what else? Defoe scored 5 goals in one game. Harry Kane and don't forget, Harry Kane is a much better player in almost every aspect than Defoe. But I'm just saying that Harry Kane hasn't scored 5 goals in one game for us, even when we were a much better team than the one that
tell Harry Kane that, because he will do it.
It's not just that. I mean, you can mention a load of strikers.
Got that record, he'll deal with it.
You can mention a load of strikers that haven't done that, but also in that game. That was one of the games where Aaron Lennon had one of his best games ever in a Spurs shirt. Everything he assisted most of those goals. He scored. He assisted Crouch. I think he assisted 4 of the 5 that Defoe got, and he scored. So that game was more. Yes, it was a great 5-goal haul from Defoe. But that game, when I think of that game, I think Aaron Lennon for me was more standout than Defoe, just because of he was unplayable.
Yeah, they were both brilliant. Fantastic stuff. I think that brings us to the end of the show, Brian. Are we anything to add before
just a few things I want to say. First of all, tomorrow we're back with the fan show, where it's going to be open to the fans a lot quicker. So what we'll do, if any of you guys have any questions you want answered before we bring people on, put it in the YouTube comments that will come on once this show is wrapped up, and we'll try and pick out the best ones and go through them. Obviously, thank you to Ben and Simeon for giving us this incredible honour and privilege of doing this. I need to give a shout out to 3 people, and one of them I've just been talking to, so I said I would. So this We Are Tottenham TV, Ben and Simeon do all the great work, but obviously we're on StreamYard right now, so we don't need the boys in the back end being in the office by themselves. So they do a lot of great work. So I want to thank Sam for his work today in helping us get all the links up and everything and organisation, and then of course got to thank Vinny And obviously, as he wants to be called the J Dog, which is Jacob, and he is the one that's made all the thumbnails for us, and he also done the editing for our tattoo video that we did when I got the We Are Tottenham TV. So a big up to Jake, to Vinny, to Sam, obviously Ben and Simeon. Thank you, and I think that's about it, guys. We'll be back tomorrow, and I'm going to end the show in typical Ben and Simeon style, which is like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.